Saturday morning. Weather is beautiful. 9 o'clock, 48 degrees. Couldn't ask for better weather. I am gonna take the Sporty out on the rocks for the first time. This bad boy here, finished it up late last night. Most likely there's gonna be some tweaks that need to be made. A couple things that I would like to maybe change. I just don't have the parts available currently to make those things happen. But we do have a comp next week, so I want to get this guy on the rocks, just make sure that it works, make sure that everything's smooth and you know, consistent for me next week. I'm sure I'll botch it and fail every course like I have been lately. It's taken quite a while to remember how to crawl, but I'm having a blast doing it. The thing that's super important to me is the people. I mean, I'm new to the area. Obviously, it's been forever since I've comped, and it's like I've known everyone for years and years and years. Granted, some of these guys know me that go to the comps, but it's just a better atmosphere. I loved racing. I love the competitiveness of the racing, but I did not ever enjoy the cliques or the cool guys or any of that, where you just don't seem to have that on the crawler side. I mean, there's guys out here that are comping in rigs that were probably built in 2012, 2014 era, and they're still coming out here and comping and crushing it on course. So it's not about what new latest and greatest you have or how much money you spent. Being that you're the only one crawling on the rocks, it's really just up to you. Your performance is self-driven. And a lot of the guys don't take it crazy serious. Some do, like myself. I'm competitive in nature, but at the end of the day, everyone's just there to have a good time and have new friends and catch up on what everyone's been doing since the last comp and all that good stuff. So heading over to the local comp spot. I believe it's called Girl Scout Mountain. Super close to my house. We've had a couple comps here now. But yeah, I'm gonna, once I get to the park, I'll pull the body off. I'll go through all the details of the Sporty, and then we'll do a couple packs through this thing, and then that should sum up the video. Yeah, we'll see you guys out on the rocks here shortly. All right, just got to the park here out on the rocks. We'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of what we have going on here. We'll take the body off in a second, but this is a high altitude performance Enigma chassis. Nice little sleek package there. So biggest question I've gotten so far is, what body is this? So this is the J Concepts Mini E-Revo. It's a little 1/16 scale E-Revo, and it's a J Concepts Illusion body. Now, in order to meet WRCCA comp specs, this section needs to be 3 inches. And then the top of the roof from the hood needs to be 1 inch. So as this body comes standard, it does not meet those specifications. What I did was take a heat gun. I'm sure you guys might have seen a little reel video. Took a heat gun, I warmed the top of the body up. I literally took my son's little toy ball, once this thing was all nice and soft, and I just placed the body over that ball with some pressure, and we got this little hump in here. So now this hump puts us within spec. It gets us the 1 inch higher. So we meet comp rules. In addition to that, this roof was originally, it was concaved a little bit. So if you landed on your lid, there's a good chance you would just be flat. Now the tires obviously are rather large, so odds are we'd still be able to rock it back and forth and drive, but adding this little hump now does allow the vehicle to roll a little bit depending on the situation, and so we'll be good to go there. All the way around, I've got deluxe shocks. These are the shorts, not the ultra shorts, but just the standard shorts. I've got a blue one and a purple one. That's just because I ordered 2 and 2, not reading. I needed actually 4. I got a NSD RC RS700. This is their shorter servo, and a big shout out to these guys. So we'll pop open the hood here, but here's a quick story. The speed control that I got, the JST I believe, is the little small direct to power plug. It was pinned wrong on the speed control. So as soon as I plugged in that servo, it popped, went up in smoke. I did unplug it, resoldered it, try to get the servo to work, and she was a goner, man. No worky. I hit up NSD to see about getting a replacement. Everyone seemed to be out of stock at the time. The guy did me a huge solid, man. He sent me out this guy, no charge. I offered to pay for it. I'm not sponsored by him in any way. I've paid full retail for everything thus far in all of my cars. But just goes to show you, you know, there's still good people out there. It was not his issue, but he took care of me, and he had that servo out the next day. So I was able to get this thing running last night. So huge shout out to those guys for getting me dialed in. And not only that, he had a blue one in stock. Look at that. Got a nice blue one, all sexy in there. All that good stuff. So we'll go to the front axle first. This is a high altitude performance axle. The front axle is an 870 DFH is what he calls it. And I have an 830 gear ratio in the front of this. I believe he's still working on a couple things here. Again, I have limited tools, or I shouldn't say limited tools. I have limited parts right now. So I was trying to get this servo to work last night in the traditional horn down, but I could not get full lock to lock. And this thing has an insane amount of steering, so I really wanted to make sure I could get lock to lock. So right now I have the servo horn facing up, and I've got a shim over here on this side. I'm gonna try to play with a shorter servo horn. This one was just too long and it was hitting this guy here. So I'm gonna try a shorter horn, see if I can get throw to throw. If that doesn't work, I may actually try to tilt the servo, rotate it a little bit, and run that horn down. Now it doesn't really interfere with anything the way it is. The geometry is not bad, and now I get full lock to lock, but we'll address that when we get to it. It has Vanquish C's and knuckles on it. These are the standard 8 degree, like what you used to run on an XR10. Nice and blue. You can see we got a little bit of clearance in here. That's just to get more lock to lock. And then Casey from High Altitude also machined these awesome knuckle weights. Big dogs here. Look how big those are. Freaking super sweet. So that's the whole front end there. Hopefully that gives you guys a nice shot of what's going on. The wheels, crowd favorite, also available high altitude. These are the P1s, so it's an aluminum machined insert there with the carbon fiber outer. Super small hardware here, super sexy. And then these are the en route HP tires. I did cut them and narrow them. That's the video that you guys watched previously of me narrowing the tires. That was for this guy here, so you could see how nice that works. And then you can see how much clearance. See how close it gets down in the links down there. Hopefully you can see it. If this tire was fatter, we would not get that. We just wouldn't, it wouldn't clear. It would be hitting that way prior to that. Top of the body here, I got these nice low profile body mounts. I left the rear see-through just because I can. I probably need to glue the P-clamps at some point in time, but we'll get to it. So the rear axle here, sorry about the shadows, nice and sunny out here today. So the rear axle, he calls this, the rear is an 810 CRH. 810 CRH, and I have a 833 gear ratio in the back here. So that's pretty much it for the outside. All the magic happens underneath the body. So let me pause it here. We'll pull off the body. I'll give you guys some more info. All right, so body off. Here's what we got going on here. So this Enigma chassis, there's a lot to take in. Start with the rear, which is arguably going to be the most basic. You'll see that the shock tower, the shock mounts, if you will, they're adjustable, both several holes in the back, but then the ears are also adjustable, so you can move this up and down. You can also flip these the other direction and change some more shock points. So the tunability in the rear is quite substantial. The same setup for the shock mounts is identical to the front, so you can do the same situation in the front. But here's where things get busy. So you'll notice I'm running a Holmes Revolver little 380. This is a 2000 kV. It's the first outrunner I've ever ran in a crawler. So we'll see how that bad boy goes, but you'll notice, look at the clearance. See how tight everything is in here? Uber tight clearance, right? Everything just barely clears, but Casey did a good job of getting everything in there. Nice little battery mount here. This is a 450, same deal. At full smash, the battery just clears that servo. And I might play with it a little bit more to get it more secure in here. But this is just a tight package. A lot of crawlers, you know, everything combined is you just got to make it work. You got to figure out how to make it work. But the awesome part is, so basically we're getting a divorce transfer case right now. So we've got a 32 pitch spur gear on here, more grip, if you will, less likely to strip it out over a 72 pitch, but that drops the motor all the way down here. You can see it does clear, doesn't hang down below the links, comes out nice down the bottom here. You can run a standard motor in here as well, but obviously you're gonna have to get creative. So you could run like a stubby, but I wanted to try the 380. I wanted to try a outrunner for the first time, so got that guy in there. Then you get a divorce transfer case set up. So the motor runs the spur. You have some gears in here that extends it to your transmission. You could look at it two different ways, I guess. Some people call this the transfer case, that the transmission, and vice versa. I don't know what the correct version is. I just know that it works. So you have that creates a very long drive shaft in the back of the vehicle. This is one of those Deluxe Fabs cut to length drive shaft kits. Super easy to do. You just do some measuring and then you cut that bad boy, and then make sure that when you cut it, that if you have any suspension travel, that the inner shaft doesn't bottom out, and we're all good in that nature. The speed control is a Mini Crowmaster V3. Again, unfortunately, this was the guy that was wired backwards. After some emails back and forth, Holmes is going to take care of me with some store credit. So definitely better than nothing. I'm a little bit concerned that when you move the servo, it actually lights up and powers the speed control. I did hear a little bit of negative information that potentially, with the nature of an outrunner, under deceleration, it will backfeed, and sometimes the amperage is substantial, or the voltage, if you will, and that can run back through and actually damage your servo. There is a capacitor in there that I think is supposed to help eliminate it, but if I'm able to move the servo, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but it does light up the speed control, I'm a little bit concerned about it. So I am looking at some other options. I'm trying to keep myself on a spending budget when it comes to my RC toys, so I'm not able to just go out and buy a new speed control yet, but I think that's going to be high on my priority list here shortly. But any of that, because I don't like to talk negative, but it is what I'm experiencing and it is the issues that I'm running into, so I want to make sure that you guys are aware of it. But overall, that's kind of the package. Hopefully the GoPro is doing some justice, getting you guys all set in here. So I haven't played on the rocks yet, so I'm not sure, you know, whether my ground clearance is going to be correct, or if I need to add ride height or take ride height away. I didn't do any limiting of the shocks. Pretty basic setup, so that's it. The suspension seems to work great, and I'm excited to get on the rocks here. So I'm going to put that body back on and let's do some crawling. All right, so far it's doing awesome. I did have to clearance the the motor shaft a little bit, as it was with that small pinion that I'm running, it was dragging, and apparently I didn't clearance it all the way, because you'll probably hear it's ticking a little bit. So I'll need to address that. Definitely need to limit the front shocks. This thing's a beast. I'm doing some lines that we did last week in the pro course, and this thing's walking it, which is awesome. I'll fail during the comp. That's usually how it works once you're on the clock, but I'll limit the front shocks a little bit. When it's climbing, they're extending a little bit too far. If I limit the fronts so they're not doing that, I think it's gonna climb even better. So definitely gonna make that change. Weather is beautiful. I got a little bit more time here, so I'm gonna keep on doing some packs. I'll see if I can find some better lines. All right, so this has I believe it's a 46% front reduction, so or rear reduction. So the front is spinning almost 50% faster than the back. You'll notice that if I slow crawl, it's pretty consistent, but if I give her throttle, it turns sharper, because the front is essentially digging it. So hopefully this GoPro footage is at the right angle. You guys can see, but honestly, I don't know. Now that is satisfying. So here's what I know so far. Servo horn in the up position in a situation like that, definitely hitting the servo horn. The little 380, it does, you can't power through it. Putting it in that hole, I can definitely feel where it didn't have enough ump. Now granted, we don't typically want to just cram our cars in the holes, but sometimes it happens. So I have a 9-tooth pinion in there right now, so I can't go any smaller. I believe I can change the spur gear size. So I'll have to do some math here, see where I need to get down gear ratio wise. Maybe even run a 4S pack, which I don't really want to do. I like to run the 3S, same battery in all the cars. But yeah, we'll keep on trucking here and see what else we can find. But I couldn't do that in my pro rig, and there's just some times where a sporty just works better. Or I need to make some changes on my pro. So either way, having a blast out here. Let's see what else I can find. All right, I came back out here today. Broke my sunglasses yesterday, so that's super cool. But anyways, didn't get enough footage for the video, so I wanted to come back out today. I didn't make any changes to the crawler. I just charged the battery, came out here, doing some playing. I wish the video angle could do justice to some of these obstacles that this thing is doing. So it's not 100% yet. I'm just trying to get a feel for it, see how it works, but I'm super impressed with how it's performing so far. Some of these lines it's done just awesome. So having a good time. Weather is, again, nice. I think it's like 62 degrees, just enough for a hoodie, and loving it. So hopefully you guys are enjoying. Well, right after just filming that little intro there, I was climbing up this ledge right behind me, this little guy right here, and it flipped over. I slammed it in reverse. It came down, smacked a rock, and literally blew the rod ends right off of the tie rod here. So that was super cool. See here, just boom, blew them up, both sides. I've never done that to 2 rod ends at once, so I think it's safe to say that these rod ends are junk. I've got plenty of the standard Revo ones, so I'm gonna go back home for the day. That is gonna sum up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got a truck out here making a bunch of noise. Thanks, buddy. But yeah, here's our local crawl spot. Plenty of rock. There's like 4 or 5 of these little mountains spread out throughout the park. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, like, subscribe, share, you know, all that good fancy stuff that you're supposed to say as a YouTuber. I'm just doing this for fun, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you are on Instagram, we're on there as well, and on Facebook. So hit us up, tell your friends, and hope to see you guys out on the rocks soon. Have a good one.